Yo, I look a little fucking dead today. I'm a little tired, I ain't gonna lie. How we doing, y'all? Hopefully, you had a good day today. It's like 7:31 p.m. We finna react to SpongeBob's cultural impact and explain. Listen, I still love SpongeBob a lot. Older SpongeBob. Older, not the new shit. The new shit's ass. I don't know what the hell they got going on. But the older shit used to make me laugh. Used to. It's still doing me laugh. So, I want to get into this. I want to see how it is. And I want to see what kind of information they're trying to explain to us. So, let's get into it, shall we?
Are you ugly and proud? Do you know what this is? Or that? Or this? Or that? Well,
I knew all that shit. It's crazy.
we're going to be looking into how SpongeBob raised you, why it stood out so much, the reason parents hated it, and the effect it's had on us as a society.
Hey.
If you, for some reason, need a quick recap of what the show is about, here it is.
Nah, for real.
Wanna see me do it again?
SpongeBob SquarePants first aired on Nickelodeon in 1999, created by Steven Hillenburg, a former marine biologist.
Rest in
The show
peace, bro.
follows SpongeBob's wacky antics in Bikini Bottom alongside a wide range of memorable side characters. Although he acts like a child most of the time, he lives on his own in a house and also has a stable full-time job that he loves. So that's how you know this is a fictitious cartoon. It's safe to say that SpongeBob is canonically an adult,
I need
as
that.
is the main cast. That's really important
I need
here
that on
because
my-
no other children's program at the time
my,
had characters like that.
debit
It
card or
allowed
some
the
shit
show
like
to
that.
explore certain topics that normally wouldn't be touched at all, such as fair labor practices,
Mr. Krabs is in there, standing at the concession, plotting his oppression.
mundane domestic dreariness,
I do not want to live like that. That shit is ugly.
Coming to bed, honey?
Yes.
and having to dispose of a body. You know, stuff adults have to worry about. Of course, we really didn't think about that when we were watching. We were too busy absolutely losing it over the number 25. The show was able to successfully blend together the surface level visuals of a promising kids show with obvious care and effort put into its humor. This helped it appeal to many different age groups, as it didn't talk
Squidward
down to
really
a
is that
younger
nigga
viewer
for
with
real.
its lessons,
That's
while
my
at the
favorite
same
character.
time not being too stale
This
and
shit get me.
predictable for someone that's older.
Doom. I'm such a kid, yo.
It also helps that there were a lot of adult jokes sprinkled in.
Patrick,
It was,
your
yes.
genius is showing.
Where? I feel like a.
Jackass.
Gary!
But aside from that, where its humor really
This shit
shines
scared me
is
when I was
it's at
younger.
its
This
most
the episode
absurd.
here,
Take,
I don't
for
know why.
example, the iconic pizza delivery episode.
One of the best
In it,
episodes.
SpongeBob and Squidward are tasked with delivering a pizza, but they end up getting stranded and lost. This is obviously not good. How are they going to get back so the customer can get their order? Throughout the episode, SpongeBob repeatedly refers to what the pioneers did in order to survive and navigate. Obviously, Squidward doesn't take any of that seriously, and even has to bail out SpongeBob because he was following one of those sick pioneer pro tips. You can't tell directions based off of where moss grows, or hitchhike by doing a funky dance, so obviously, you can't drive a rock. In
Yeah.
that same episode, the mobile rock isn't even the joke with the biggest payoff either.
We have just enough time to make it back to work.
Work. Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
After
I haven't heard that
everything they
audio in
went
so
through,
long,
they
that's crazy.
basically
What is
went
that from
in a
again?
giant circle on a journey that could have been easily avoided. A lesser show would have had both of them right off into the sunset for a nice happy ending, but no, not our show. No, you don't get to the top and win 20 Kids' Choice Awards by being subpar. Come on. However, SpongeBob wasn't the first
I am
kids
not
show
trying to
like
get
this.
copyrighted
Ren
with that
and
Undertale
Stimpy
music.
And Animaniacs shared similar types of comedy, but they were a few years too early. The stars aligned when SpongeBob came out. It was the best moment for it to really shine and cement its legacy. It was the perfect show for the generation that gets to grow up alongside. Got an early boost in its meme stock back in the early 2010s, and shots from the show have only skyrocketed in popularity since then. There's nothing better
on
when a
early
screenshot
Instagram
and a
niggas would post
caption
memes
feel
like
They
that.
were just made for each other.
Them
At
shits
this
were not
point,
funny.
There's so many
They're not
different images
funny.
that could fit in so many different
I
situations.
remember the Breathe In Boy
Even
one.
Nickelodeon
That one was funny to
recognizes
me.
this popularity with meme merch.
Younger. Now it's
Okay,
not really
actually,
funny anymore.
Really quick
but-
rant incoming. No, not about a corporation trying to capitalize on our childhood. That's whatever. Capitalism is gonna capitalism. It's about this thing. I hate it. I hate these so much. I hate its face and the way it's used to mock someone because there's already a frame where SpongeBob does that with his hand.
No!
Don't backsass me!
I really don't understand how this one became one of the most popular ones in general. Like how? This doesn't make sense. This is why I think that.
20 minutes later.
And that's why I never want to see this thing ever again. Alright? Alright.
Blood is
To put some
jabbering.
numbers as to how popular SpongeBob memes are, as of this recording, our Bikini Bottom Twitter, which is just SpongeBob memes essentially, is the 95th largest subreddit. By the time I saw my first meme, I was ready to go. It's why the most random, ironic, obscure things get a
The
huge
thing about
laugh out of
SpongeBob
me.
too, they did a really good job of like catching those type of scenes where like they get up close shots. You know what I'm talking about? Like those type jokes.
If you clicked on this video, we both likely have seen the same episodes. We've used the same jokes with our friends. We may have even shared the exact same memes before. That's the beauty of all of this. Everyone can get in on the joke. Well, except maybe the ones that couldn't watch or weren't allowed to watch growing up. Those people won't even truly appreciate this image, and my heart breaks for them. But it's that nostalgia for a lot of us that'll never make us tired of these. It helps us remember a time where stuff was easier, where
Flip
our
the
biggest worry
M
was
to
making
W,
sure we
W
could get
means
to
for
the TV on
Wombo.
time for the newest episode. That nostalgia, in turn,
Or
helps
he
keep
said
the
something
show
like
alive.
that.
The
It's been
internet
minutes
is
since I've seen
an
the episode.
ever-changing landscape where breaking news becomes yesterday's news in about an hour. So for something to not just continuously survive, but to thrive, it has to keep on changing. That's exactly what we've been doing whenever we reach into our bank of childhood memories to grab a funny screenshot and use it for something relatable that the SpongeBob team never intended for it. And yet, for how much we love this show, certain people didn't. Certain people that at one point in our lives decided whether or not we get Dino Nuggies for dinner, so we had no choice but to listen to them. Even though they still let
I haven't
me
heard this
watch
audio
them,
in a
my
minute,
own
too. Where's
parents
that from
didn't
again?
like SpongeBob. Not because they thought the hijinks and tomfoolery that was shown would rub off on me, or because there was an entire episode of swearing,
Hi, Squidward.
Yeah, I remember this too.
and not even because of certain grotesque body horror scenes.
I do remember
but
that.
rather, the reason they didn't like it was because it used a word that was treated like a slur in my household. Where if you said it, everyone looked at you like you just told them all to f off or something.
Yeah.
That word being
Flim flam? No?
stupid.
Never mind.
Where was I? Furthermore,
That is true though.
lots of parents
I had
do-
my brother. He had kids, right? They were not allowed to watch SpongeBob to pick up traits such as saying stupid, or you're dumb, or you're an idiot, you're a buffoon, you know, that type shit.
like it because they thought it was too violent or too influential or because they thought it was just plain dumb and they didn't want their kids to end up like that. As
Yeah.
if watching SpongeBob actually makes kids. Oh.
He may live in a pineapple under the sea.
He lives in a pineapple under the sea.
He lives in a pineapple under the sea.
There's a new study that shows SpongeBob SquarePants might not be good for your child's brain. It can cause short-term attention and learning problems.
Could threaten your child's development.
It's not true.
Back in 2011,
I used to
the
watch that shit all the
University of
time when I was
Virginia
younger.
published a study about SpongeBob's effect on young minds. Using 4-year-olds, they had 20 kids watch SpongeBob, 20 Caillou, and 20 just drew whatever on paper. Afterwards, they were asked to complete a series of simple tests. Out of the 3 groups, the kids that watched SpongeBob did the worst. Okay, well, I guess that's irrefutable proof, right? SpongeBob SquarePants makes children stupid. Just look at this official science chart. Look at how badly these kids did. They're never going to college at this rate. The reason they did so poorly compared to the others is because, in comparison with Caillou, there's a lot going on in SpongeBob.
I don't give a fuck about this nigga Caillou, yo. Get this nigga off this screen. Oh my gosh. Stop. with the comparison.
As a
I don't
result
care
of
about that
Their
nigga.
small, tiny brains pretty much got tuckered out. They were too mentally fatigued to do well on those tests. That's why the kids that didn't watch any TV at all and instead had some drawing time did the best. So yeah, once again, if you watch SpongeBob, then you're just flat out dumb, right?
Hell no.
Wrong.
Here's why all of these news stories are just a lot of needed a story and it got one. These sensationalized headlines are so much catchier for suburban moms that already didn't like the show. It reinforced their own beliefs without really giving it a second thought. Even one of the study's own researchers, upset by how oversimplified their findings were being presented, commented on all of this. Saying that SpongeBob is making you dumber is very different than saying a child's attention is temporarily impaired and that we don't know what the long-term impacts are. Our brain is like a muscle. When we watch something with a bunch of sounds, a bunch of cuts, and a bunch of action, our brain is working more, so it's gonna be more fatigued. That's what was being highlighted in this study, to better understand how certain things affect the way a toddler thinks. So it only makes sense that the SpongeBob kids did the worst. But here's the real kicker here. Remember when I said the study was made up of 4-year-olds? SpongeBob is rated TVY7, as in it's rated for 7-year-olds. The game was rigged from the start. That little piece of information was missing from so many news stories. It got so bad that Nickelodeon even had to give a statement. Having 60 non-diverse kids who are not part of the show's targeted demo watch 9 minutes of programming is questionable methodology. It could not possibly provide the basis for any valid findings that parents could trust. I can't believe I'm gonna side with the corporation, but they're kinda right.
They
The
are
sample
right.
size
It's
was
not
tiny,
kinda, they
and
are
the whole
right.
thing got irresponsibly reported on. Like I mentioned earlier, SpongeBob makes your kids dumb is a much catchier headline than watching SpongeBob or any other show outside of your child's age range temporarily limits their cognitive abilities, reducing their puzzle solving skills and shortening
sound
their
effects.
patience. Also, out of all the other educational kids cartoons they could have chosen, Caillou, this piece of
This little piece of shit. This dumbass nigga that no one cares about. This stupid ass show. The shit was stupid and it was repetitive.
forward to the 3-hour video essay on why Caillou is the absolute worst character in any piece of fiction. Now, back to SpongeBob. Despite everything, be it disgruntled parents or starving media, we still care a lot about the show. Even if we haven't watched a single
Escalades
episode in
or
years, it's still pretty relevant to our
Eels,
lives.
whatever the
Especially
fucking
if you're in
game.
West
It's been a
Virginia,
minute.
Apparently, according to Google Trends, they're the most interested in SpongeBob. So big shout out to the West Virginians watching.
New
Aside
Jersey
from the
is
usual
98.
internet memes,
We love
there have been
SpongeBob,
two
mate.
notable events that really brought fans together.
It's a sad day for residents of Bikini Bottom. Steven Hillenburg, creator of SpongeBob SquarePants, has passed away.
Yeah.
Well, there was a sink sponge, so I drew a square one, and I immediately locked on to the idea of this undersea nerd. And from that point on, I thought, well, that's the start, SpongeBob.
20 years ago, I got a call to go see a man about a sponge. The man was Steven Hillenburg, and his sponge wound up conquering the world.
I don't really have an idea that I'd want to torture myself over for several seasons. And then Martin was looking at the intertitle comic that I had, and he said, "What are you, crazy? This is your show right here."
One of the greatest, nicest human beings, senseis, teachers, artists that it has ever been anyone's pleasure to work with, Steven Hillenburg.
The unfortunate passing of the show's creator touched all of us. Fans, of course, wanted to memorialize him in a special way. With the timing of all this, the Super Bowl was just in a few months. So naturally, what everyone thought of was Band Geeks is arguably one of the best, if not the best, SpongeBob episode ever made. It's full of memorable
I disagree.
lines, remarkable
It's not.
jokes, and
It's
an
not the best, but
unforgettable
it's one of the
musical
best.
performance at the end. The idea
I don't
for
really
this
have a
song
best,
to be
though.
performed at the Super Bowl
I
by
like
the
a lot of them.
halftime show headliners Maroon 5 grew to the point that a Change.org petition for it received over 1.2 million signatures. Of course, having a popular Change.org petition doesn't always mean that thing will happen. But
Yeah.
it was enough to give this idea more credibility. After this is when the hype for it really exploded. On December 12, 2018, the event's venue, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, tweeted this GIF from the Band Geeks episode. Then, a few weeks before the big night, Maroon 5 tweeted out a promo for their performance. It was just a regular kind of video, hyping it all up, but wait, what? SpongeBob?
There I am, Gary. There I am.
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
Wait.
Everybody, calm down.
Aw yeah, here we go. We hecking did it. I remember being so hyped for this that I organized a whole watch party. My birthday always falls on Super Bowl weekend, so I got a bunch of my friends together to celebrate my birth, but more importantly, to bear witness to this event that we'll tell future generations about. Keep in mind, we were not sports
It didn't
people.
happen though,
We were
right?
gamers. Mario's
Because I don't remember anything like of that happening.
Sports was for me, so if it didn't have power-ups, I wasn't interested. To be quite frank, I don't really even know what the rules for football are. But yet, I had to watch. For this. For SpongeBob. For Steven Hillenburg's tribute. And on that fateful night, we got this.
And now, a true musical genius who needs no introduction. It's lit.
That's it.
Fans were not happy for the most part. All this hype and anticipation for a really quick cameo? Yeah, while it may be true that it's better than nothing and that we weren't really owed anything, it still stung. This was a dream of a generation. From the moment we saw that episode, we all thought how cool it'd be to see that performed live one day, and here was this amazing opportunity, a once-in-a-lifetime chance for it to happen on a giant stage like this, and for such a good reason, to honor the life of its creator, and it was fumbled, to say the least. Many do truly believe this, and it makes even more sense when you consider just how iconic this yellow square guy really is. SpongeBob
Nigga
is
said
up
you
there
used
in
me
the
for
realm
sicko
of
mode.
animated
I just realized it
giants,
said that.
alongside characters like Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny. As of 2019, the franchise has netted in over $13 billion in merchandise revenue alone. It's the most profitable property to come out of the entire Paramount family. Given that, it's no surprise that Nickelodeon treats SpongeBob like, well, a sponge, continuously squeezing every bit of its worth out. They've of course found success with other shows, but none of them come close to SpongeBob's star
Why
power.
they censor him
That's why
cleaning
it's
his
the
foot?
second longest running animated children's series in the US, falling just 2 years shy of Pokemon. If you go on Nickelodeon right now, there's a really good chance that SpongeBob is playing. It's their cash cow. Of course they're gonna milk it, be it with TV schedule blocks, movies, or even spin-offs that they think we're apparently excited about.
My name is Squidward.
Well, we know. Tired of seeing that damn ad, bro.
There are plenty of reasons to hate on the spin-offs, but for the sake of fairness, I gotta address a rumor real quick. A lot of people cite that spin-offs are just straight up disrespectful to Steven Hillenburg's legacy because he reportedly didn't want any, and that Nickelodeon waited until his passing to go ahead with them. That's not exactly the truth. As a SpongeBob showrunner put it, Hillenburg has gone on record saying that he didn't see a spin-off happening, not that he didn't want one to happen. In fact, he was even aware of its production before his passing. So with that being said, it really is a shame seeing modern SpongeBob as a whole. I know this is gonna sound like a back in my day, SpongeBob was good kind of thing. But
No,
I mean,
it was. It's true.
there's a reason we care about the first few seasons the most. Heck, even kids nowadays love the earlier episodes more. It all just seemed more authentic back then. Yeah, it's got a bigger budget now, so it's shinier and cleaner, but that's just really uncanny for a lot of us. Not to mention how the latest seasons focus way more on slapstick, visual gags, and gross out out close-ups. Earlier seasons could be compared to a Krabby Patty. Modern SpongeBob is what almost killed the health inspector. But despite the current state of the show, that doesn't detract from what we experienced growing up. We still have all those good memories, and I think we should just focus on that. To take a moment to realize how lucky we are to have experienced all of this, and to focus on the simpler times of our childhoods. Like when we cheered when SpongeBob and Patrick came back to life, or when I spent a whole 2 months allowance on SpongeBob books at the Scholastic Book Fair, or how for some
I remember
reason,
those.
the watch cycle kinda scared me. Now that I think about it, the outro music in a dark room at night was kinda spooky too.
That wasn't
As
spooky.
long as we remember that we share this one thing, that this is what we all have
To
in
me,
common,
at
I
least.
think we'll be alright.
That episode was scary,
Thanks
though.
for watching.
Hey, man, that was a good video. Besides the fucking Caillou shit and you yapping about other shit that I don't care about. But it's not about me. It's about the cultural impact of a SpongeBob. Anyway, man, you did a good job doing the video. Thank y'all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I know it's not something I usually react to, but hey, you gotta step out the border sometimes. You gotta explore. Do something new. Do something. Do some things new. Shit. Y'all know what I meant. Anyway, I'm gonna catch you on another video. And, peace.